Good morning, Gambia. Good morning, Africa, from wherever you're watching us from. We are back to yet another interesting, educative, and of course, interactive edition of this morning program. From wherever you're watching us from, it's always good to be back in the studio to talk about pertinent issues that are happening in the country and of course around the world. Mbokk yi ñu leen di nuyu di leen dalalaat fii si beneen edition yi this morning program fu waay munti nekk rek si biir réew mi ak si bitim réew ñu leen naa jaajëfal bu baax a baax amaan mbégte lool nag dellu si waat si studio bi ndaxte comme nuñ ko dee defee rek saa su ne rek programme bi moo xam ngeen ne comme daf dee interactive daf dee educative because dañ dee talk about a lot of issues ñu invite suñ guests to talk about a lot of issues loolu lañ dee def tey nag I am joined by my very own Aliou for the first time
Indeed, for the first time.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to be back on this morning program. I've been away from this platform for a while.
Of course, you run away.
Like stepping in for Ibrahim Bande, by the way. So.
Good to have you here. And of course, my very good editor, Daramy. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a pleasure. And of course, Ibrahim Balde is recovering from his Valentine's exertions.
Yes.
He was up till way past midnight.
Yesterday.
Yes.
He was very, very tired, but they did a fantastic job yesterday. But they were a little bit biased.
Is that right?
They were only focusing on the role of the woman in the house, like in the marriage. I was like, hello, what is the role of the man in the house? So, gentlemen, how are you doing? How was your Valentine's yesterday? My Aliou, suma wujabi no ko trite and you know.
Valentine's, anyway, I wouldn't like to say this on TV, but then I'm not that person who is that much into Valentine stuff. I think for me, love should be manifested every day.
True.
So for me, Valentine is just what it is. Anyway.
I agree. I totally agree. Like I think there should not be a specific date for people, the couples and loved ones to express their love for one another. But yeah, it is what it is, you know.
Yes.
It is a day that is set for loved ones and all that. So, Mr. Drammeh, how was your Valentine?
My Valentine was spent working as a single person, so there's nothing for me to do on Valentine. But on the matter of, love should be manifested every day, I think in theory that's right, that's true. But this kind of reminds me of Black History Month, where people say, oh, Black history should be celebrated every day, not just, for 1 month of a year. In theory, that would be fantastic, but we know that doesn't happen. And the same with love. If only everybody behaved every day in the same way that they behaved on Valentine's Day, the world would be a much better and much more wonderful place. But people don't. And so it highlights the importance of love,
Exactly.
because it is literally what makes the world go round. If we stop loving each other and stop having children and so on, the human race will die out. So love has a role to play, and it's an important role in our lives.
Exactly.
So yes, we should celebrate it.
Yeah, we should celebrate it. I mean, love is very important. So today, the running order we have here is we have our famous African proverb, which is one of my favorite, but sometimes it's very difficult. Of course, we have the newspaper review, and we will speak to the Deputy Police PRO Muhammed Darboe about the alleged shooting of police officers at fass, and of course we will also talk to Ibrahim Musa Jallo, Director of Standardization of the Gambia Standards Bureau, and we will also talk to Saikou Jarju lost the Banjul Afrisports Championship, to talk to us about that. And of course we have the click segment with Chachel Balde. But before we go, we will start with the African proverb. Aliou, help us with the African proverb.
Well, the African proverb for today says, where there's love, there is no darkness. Where there's love,
there is no darkness. Absolutely. Mr. Drammeh, what do you make of that?
Yeah, it's an intriguing one, and intriguing one on the day after we're just talking about Valentine's Day. I read it, and it made me ponder, where there is love, there is no darkness. I guess, if you broaden it beyond just kind of physical love, between man and woman, for example, and take it to love. You love your community, you love your society, you love your country. Then it means there will be no darkness. We don't mean darkness as in electricity, but we mean, as in, just the way that people interact with each other. So I like it, even though, when I read it at first, it sort of had me scratching my head. as to what exactly they meant. But, you know, that's my interpretation, that if there is love around, then, you know, things are brighter, better, and in that sense, there's no darkness.
Absolutely. Aliu, what do you make of that proverb?
Yeah, I think for me, what it tells us is that, I mean, where there is love, I mean, people are always open to each other, because there's that love, you don't have that animosity between people, so they are willing to talk to each other, and in that, there won't be any sort of darkness among people. So for me, that's what I understand.
Yeah.
And for you?
I think I totally agree with all of you. I mean, you guys saved me. So where there is love, there is no darkness. That is absolutely right, because love makes the world go round. And where there is love, there is no chaos, there is no war, there is no, all these problems that we are seeing in this world is because, you know, we are not manifesting love in our daily lives. But if we are manifesting love in whatever we are doing, I think we will live a much happier and a much peaceful life. But that is the problem. Like, people are not really, I think at some point I keep asking, I'll be like, okay, I think love stops where during Romeo and Juliet's time. This
is it. And I think what we're talking about is beyond romantic love.
Exactly.
You know, as I said, it could be love for your town, village, community, your country. And so it's a sort of broader kind of love that we're talking about.
So absolutely. So that's it. I mean, we should always at all times try to manifest love. I mean, there's no harm in loving. There is no harm in giving. There is no harm in being kind and being simple. So we should always try by all means to manifest that love. So yeah, we will take now a short commercial break. When we return, the program continues and we will start with the newspaper review. Do stay tuned.
Medicalia is a high-quality clinic from Europe, which is now in the Gambia. Do you have an eye problem? Do you feel a hearing difficulty? Medicalia is here to ease the pain for you. The first and only hearing aid dispensing facility nationwide, where patients can be tested and treated to recover from their hearing loss. Fitted with latest generation equipment, our doctors can provide healthcare assistance for eyes, ears, nose, and throat. Common diseases like glaucoma or diabetic retinopathy can be diagnosed and followed up for fast and correct treatment. Make your appointment with the eye or ear, nose, and throat ENT specialist today to relieve any pain you might be feeling, as consultants are available daily. Contact us for more information. Visit us at Tropic Shopping Center near Senegambia from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day of the week, or call us on 503-4411 or 7767-123. Medicalia, premium care, personal touch.
Welcome back. If you are just tuning in, this is QTV's This Morning program. We are coming to you live from on our studios on Darboe Avenue, and of course I am Julden Jai with my colleagues here, Aliu Sise and Mr. Adi Drammeh. We are going straight to the newspaper review, and of course I have the Fourier with me. Aliu. Yes,
and I have the Voice newspaper here as well.
And I have the Point newspaper.
So let's start with the Fourier newspaper. Fourier says KMC gets revenue of over $280 million in 2021. And of course, Soldier says Sana Fadera wanted to overthrow Gambia government, and traders within the Gambia Greater Banjul area lament the high cost of the CFA. And editorial on the Fourier newspaper say financing development and poor organized compliance dialogue for improved service delivery for forum for providers, and Gambia-China pledged to strengthen security ties, and finally Trust Bank donates wheelchairs to Nodo. So those are the stories on the Fourier newspaper.
And on the Voice newspaper, Pura DG tax service providers to make service available to public. And then of course we talk about the issue of the fass Njagachoy incident. I mean, the National Human Rights Commission has also issued a statement condemning this alleged shooting in fass Njagachoy. Of course, we also have UDP to contest 99 wards. Banjul, KMC mayoral, as well as 6 regional chairmen. It seems they are ready now for the upcoming local government election. That's what I have on the Voice newspaper here. Of course, Gambia China pledged to strengthen security ties. Those are the main stories on the Voice News.
I have some similar ones. Human Rights Commission condemns attack on police officer at Fass and Jaga Choi. Trust Bank extends benevolence to organization for differently abled persons. There's one here which says government clarifies corruption allegations over Secure Report Transparency's Perception Index, but it's slightly deceptive, because it's actually not an article, it's a press release. I'm not sure why they
and still on sports as well, on the Voice newspaper, we having Minister Baji Kababajo orders bid farewell to our young Scorpions. And, you know,
I was going to come to that
exactly,
in my
exactly. And also
sports, yeah.
The technical director of the Gambia Football Federation, Sandong, also selected by CAF as, you know, to be part of the study group team in Egypt.
Sure.
Yeah.
And so here in the middle, I have soldier testifies in foiled coup trial. That trial is ongoing. Lance Corporal Sana Fadera, the alleged ringleader, his portrait is there on the picture. Ambassador Ruben hails Gambia-Cuba ties and vows exchange programs. $8.5 million impressed not submitted for retirements from affiliates. This one will run and run, and Inspector General of Police visits a victim of armed robbery incident. So those I have. And then inside, quickly, I was going to mention the sports, but Ali beat me to it. The under-20 have gone off to this competition. Editorial, which my colleague Choi will be very, is again to do with the Fass Jaga Choi incident. The editorial says the need to intensify security in border communities. Exactly. So I'll rest there for now.
Okay. Yeah. So we will talk about the KMC gets over $280 million in revenue in 2021, and we've seen that recently. There are a lot of, you know, allegations, you know, making rounds in social media everywhere that, you know, there is corruption going on in some of these councils, and as a result, they said the president is, you know, is commissioning or will commission.
Has commissioned
at
this
a commission
press release issued today.
Set up a
commission of inquiry into these councils. I mean, sometimes others will say maybe it is politically motivated, and others will say no. I mean, it's subjected to interpretation.
Yes, it can only be politically motivated if all the councils being investigated are your opponents. But when some of them are actually your party, led by your party, I'm not sure how that can be politically motivated, because they're not just investigating one council. Allegedly, they're investigating all of them. So, and some of them are controlled by NPP. So, you know, I don't think that argument holds much sway. As to the amounts collected, that you can only be impressed or not impressed if you know how much they'd collected in previous years. So unless we see those figures, 280 sounds a lot, but, you know, did they collect less? Did they collect more in previous years? Who knows? I'd love to see the figures to do a comparison. And maybe perhaps the writer of the article has helped us out with that. But if they haven't, then they're not being very helpful. Yeah. You can't really discuss whether it's a lot or not unless you have those figures for comparison's sake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Ali?
Yes, Pura DG tax service providers to make service available to the public. I mean, we covered this story yesterday. I mean, where, you know, Pura organized a stakeholders forum on compliance with service providers to look at, I mean, the gains and of course the challenges that's affecting, I mean, their, you know, effective service delivery. Sure. But how important do you think this is, you know, having such a forum with you know, service providers?
It's incredibly important, because what you get is you exchange ideas, you exchange information. And hopefully you tell each other about your successes, your challenges, and that way people can improve their service, because you might get up and give a presentation and somebody says, oh, we had something similar happen to us, and perhaps we can deal with it in the way you did, or avoid dealing with it the way you did because it wasn't a success. So I've always believed in these forums for a sort of exchange of ideas, certainly, and I think it's good to have them. I think it's absolutely good to have them. So yeah, I'm all in favor.
Okay. Yeah. Still on the photo, traders within the Greater Banjul area lament the high cost of CFA against the Darboe.
What do you want us to do about that? it's economics. It's a fact of life. You know,
but for the fact that the prices of, you know, basic food commodities are, you know, skyrocketing, you know, it's affecting people, and people are really complaining that the government should do something about it.
They can complain all they want. I just read a story where people are complaining in England about the high cost of food. It's worldwide. Gambia is part of the world. We will always be affected by it.
Yeah.
And we will always be affected by it because we import so much of what we consume. When we start, producing and eating what we need, then we don't have that complaint. But until then, external forces impact on, including, CFA and so on, that will always have an impact because you're having to buy from importers and they will ask for it in CFA or they ask for it in dollars. And if you don't have it, then you're in trouble. And if those currencies are fluctuating in a way that's not beneficial to the Gambian dalasi, then of course you're going to get the situation that we find ourselves in.
And before they were basing the situation on COVID-19. Now, I don't know whether they will...
Russia, Ukraine.
And
then
there,
eventually
now
be Turkey, Syria will be the next one, the earthquake. But I mean, on a more serious note, people have started testifying in the coup trial, and the soldier has testified, and he alleges that the alleged ringleader, Sana Fadera, wanted to overthrow the government. And so that trial is ongoing, and it's one we should watch very, very carefully because, West Africa is getting a bad name for coup d'etats. Even yesterday in Nigeria, the army had to issue a press release saying that they're not planning a coup d'etat because there'd been rumors that they were doing so. And, we've always had 3 successful coup d'etats in West Africa. We don't need...
And as we speak, they're preparing for the election this month.
Well, well, that's right. So, this is very, very tense time in Nigeria. And so here, people are keeping a very close eye on how this trial develops and sees whether it was something. Because sometimes people talk. And I want to do this. It's the nature of an open and free society that sometimes you might say, I want to overthrow the government. It doesn't mean you have plans to do it or you even have the means to do it. Sometimes people just talk. So it might be just that's kind of gotten out of hand, or it might be something more serious. I guess the trial, when we get to the end of it, will show whether this was a serious attempt, a coup plot, or just people talking big and talking out of turn and it getting misinterpreted. But definitely one to keep a close eye on, for sure.
Ali, what do you have?
Yeah, local government elections coming up. UDP to contest 99 wards. I mean, they're also contesting in Banjul, KM, mayoral, and
so
of course
how many wards
the
are
6
there?
regional chairmanship. We have over 100.
So they're contesting 99. That's
We'll have like almost,
nice,
if I'm right, 114, huh?
Right.
114 wards.
So fair number they're contesting. And people have, if you go online, you see social media, everybody started kind of positioning themselves.
Exactly.
Parties have chosen, and in fact, from today, they can collect their papers from the Electoral Commission for to be candidates. So it will be interesting to see if there's a flood of people going to collect nomination papers for that, and definitely what we should keep an eye on again.
But what does this tell about the UDP? I mean, this is a huge number.
It's big. It's big. It tells us that they are ambitious because sometimes you can make strategic choices about that. You can say, okay, there are certain wards we think we can win, 50 or 60. Let's just target them. And then maybe we'll go into coalition with some other people in another ward and we'll tell our people, vote for this party. Because those things happen. Those kind of bargainings happen. But when you're going for 99, that's huge number. And it means that you're ambitious about wanting to grasp the whole the reins of local government.
And for some reason, I think the NPP has been on the low when it comes to the selection of candidates and these local government elections. I mean, all the other parties are really gearing up and they are really optimistic. They are putting up candidates, but for some reason, the NPP has been a little bit quiet.
They've been slow at it. I mean, and it's been commented on. And when you have the president as your kind of the sort of seen by everybody as being the face of the party, it seems rather strange because you would think that this would be something that you would use to your advantage. But I think also it's probably based on the fact that we saw the president get huge vote in the presidential election, and yet when it came to the National Assembly elections, it didn't translate into huge votes for his party. So perhaps that is sort of coloring how they're going about choosing candidates. Maybe they're just being very, very particular, very careful, and choosing people with care, which you need to do because these people, if they win, they end up having quite an impact on people's lives locally. Local government is having quite a lot of influence now.
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I know for Banjul, I mean, it seems they have confirmed who's going to contest in Banjul, but for like West Coast region, we have almost like 9 people wanting to contest under the NPP, then there's a problem. Yeah. You know, there's really going to be a problem.
You have to weigh it up and see who's the best candidate.
Yes. Who will pull out, how, you know, will they accept whoever is selected by the party at the end of the day. That's right. So,
because sometimes we can have, I can remember in Sierra Leone, for example, for the Freetown mayorship, you know, obviously it's the capital. Everybody wants to stand. So within the parties, there was fierce fighting for people wanting to be the nominated candidate, and you might get the same, particularly for
in West Coast region.
The West
I don't know
Coast
what is there, but this time around there is that, you know, intensity. Exactly. For West Coast. And I think we really need that. I mean, it's about time that West Coast transform into something. I mean, it's really big, but when it comes to the work and of course the, you know, what the council is doing and, you know, the impact of the council to the people, you realize that, you know, a lot more needs to be done when it comes to the council level.
Well, I was with Troy in the car this morning and I was saying to him, why is it that a country the size of the Gambia in 2023 still has such poor infrastructure? Should not be the case, you know, given, you know, and we're talking about, you know, people in government making strategic alliances for people to get, and we've seen some of the councils are going that. They're not just depending on central government, they're going outside the country to get people to you know, align themselves with, to bring in development into that. And I think I expect to see much more of that around the country.
We have seen the KMC doing.
With Madison County in Wisconsin. And
Freetown as well. So.
Exactly.
So I expect to see many more alliances like that. So yes. But if I could quickly mention the under 20 who've just gone off, they're expecting great things. The competition starts in Egypt, and their first match is on the 21st of February, and it's against Tunisia, under 20 AFCON, essentially big tournament. And you know, Gambia's, you know, they've not done badly in this previously, but they face very, very stiff competition. I think they've got Tunisia, Benin, and I can't remember who else they've got in their group. But I think it's a tough group. But we wish them well. We really wish them well. And they seem to be quite a talented bunch. They played 3 friendlies before they left. I think they won 2 and lost 1 or drew 1. So they're in good form. They're in good form. And they don't have any injuries to report from any of their team players. And also what I like about it is that they have recruited Gambians who are playing abroad. And a
couple of them have been invited by the coach.
By the coach. And he said, you know, they realized that they scoring seemed to be a problem for them. So he's brought in a couple of forwards who, you know, have shown that they can score goals, and you need that. You need that. So yeah, it would be good to see if you can amalgamate, you know, the kind of locally based and the foreign based players into a cohesive unit. And I hope they do well. I really hope they do.
I hope so, because I mean, they are going to this tournament from what has been a very good performance in their last outing in Mauritania. And then so definitely, you know, there is a team to watch out for as far as this competition is concerned. But like you said, I mean, they are facing strong opponents in this competition, and then let's just see how the coach and the players, you know, will go out there and then, you know, make us proud once more.
And they also have a couple of things to aim for, because if they get as far as, at least as far as the semi-final stage, it means they will qualify for the Under-20 World Cup as well, which will be fantastic, you know. So the top 4 teams will qualify for the Under-20 World Cup, so which will be played in Indonesia.
Finally, before we go, Pura organizes compliance dialogue for improved service delivery for from providers.
Well, that's
we've discussed.
That's the one that Ali was mentioning. That saying that, you know, is this a good thing? And I was saying yes, it is, because, you know, these people come together and they exchange ideas and suggestions on their successes and their failures, and you hope that the people they've sent to attend have learned, you know, will learn from each other. And you know, what I would like to see at the end is that for them to say, okay, we've set up a forum where electronically we can exchange documents which showing how we dealt with this problem, how we dealt with that problem, and so on. And for me, you know, unless you're going to do that sort of thing at the end of a forum like this, then it's just a talking shop.
Exactly.
You should get something out of it, and that something should be an exchange of ideas to improve whatever service you're delivering.
Compliance,
so
exactly. Ali, do you
it's
have
it's interesting, and just one more story on the Voice newspaper. I mean, this is from the last Liga opening, where the Chief Justice mentioned that, I mean, most of the civil matters, I mean, emanate from West Coast region, and it has to do with land disputes. If you've been following the legal opening, you realize that, I mean, it is something that he appeared really concerned about as far as the issue of land disputes in the West Coast region.
And he came up with a very good suggestion about with that there should be like a dedicated court that deals with, and you take it out of the normal court system. That means if you look at the number of cases, you will free up a lot of court time. And then you have people who will specialize in dealing with land disputes, you know, both the people who are the magistrates as well as the lawyers. You suddenly have lawyers who will say, okay, I'm going to specialize in land and property matters so that I can attend to that. I think it's a brilliant idea, and I hope it could be sort of made real. We definitely
exactly. And they are also encouraging out-of-court settlement because according to him, like most of these cases will come land cases, and then at the end of the day, they will withdraw the cases and all after wasting the court's time.
Or they just go on forever. I mean, my landlord has been involved in one since the day I landed in Gambia, and it is still not settled, and that's 4 years.
Oh my God.
It is still not settled, and there must be cases even before his.
Exactly.
So, you know, I think, you know, you're right. I mean, we need to do something about this because they're taking up a lot of court time.
And aside from that, how about laws that will effectively regulate these real estate agencies? It was something that he also suggested.
Yes, they talked about that, because if you leave it to self-regulation, then you might as well say it's a free-for-all. But there needs to be a body that can set up that will regulate the estate, because anybody can set up and saying, I'm an estate agent, you start selling property. The number of people we've had come to QTV and say, I bought property only to find out it's been sold to 2 other people. You know, the land that I bought has been sold to 2. There's so many of those. We could run a whole program every week on just those.
Exactly.
So,
thank you very much. That was Ade Drammeh, our newspaper review guest. Thank you for coming along.
Pleasure as always. Thank you.
So viewers, we will now take a short commercial break. When we return, of course, we'll be talking to the Deputy Police PRO Muhammed Darboe about the alleged shooting of police officers at fass. We'll be right back.
QCell, GSM company minna yirwa tariata Gambia Bankoka. QCell la 4G plus network ya banko bela mura. Andung ala internet o tariata sidula saba katambi nyongola. Saun sahin yesta 335 # kumandi. Yada di kemuna fang 4G sobe wala. QCell, Gambia la network lanna yaringo.
QMoney is back again with its easy-to-use, secure and convenient mobile app that allows you to carry out all your transactions. No matter where you are or what time it is, you can always access your funds. With the new QMoney app, you can cash in and out, buy credit, buy QPower, shop, make payments, and so much more. You can also send QMoney, pay bills, receive international remittances, and transfer cash to others. Just download the app from your Play Store or App Store and get started. For more information, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sinu Kalpe. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV This Morning program. We are live on our studios along Karaba Avenue, and of course I am Julden Jai. Of course you can watch the repeat of the program at 12 midnight, and of course I am joined by Muhammed Darboe, the Deputy PRO of the Gambia Police Force. Good morning, Mr. Darboe.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm fine.
How was your Valentine?
Valentine, I don't val.
You don't val? Why?
No. I'm from an Imam heritage. I know you agree with me.
I do.
Yes.
Yes. Ali does not val, and I do not val as well.
Okay, this is a group of non-val fellows.
Absolutely. So it's good to have you again.
Thank you.
On the program. I mean, to talk about the alleged shooting of police officers at fass. Please confirm this incident for us.
It happened, as unfortunate as it is, that our PIU officers, one of them was shot in the arm, the wrist specifically, also unarmed, because when he was shot, he lost his rifle, and he has to move somewhere for his own safety. And the unidentified armed robbers do away with the rifle. It's unfortunate that during the incident, also those that were in the traffic in that moment were taken out of their vehicles. Some of them assaulted. A woman was assaulted. And they also used the opportunity to conduct a break-in, do away with some money belonging to a shopkeeper in that border zone village, somewhere very near the police checkpoint.
So how does this incident happen exactly? I mean, what happened?
Well, these are armed robbers, and until this moment, they are unidentified. Come from nowhere, specifically no report indicating where exactly they come from what zone they come from. They just come along the road and do their operations, succeeded, and move out, as unfortunate as it is.
So meaning there's no arrest as we speak?
There is an arrest of one person who is a resident of Fass, Jarju, who is helping the police with investigation. We're having updates regularly on this matter, some of which are not finalized yet, and I may not want to speak about that, those that are not finalized. But there could be some developments, positive developments regarding this whole incident.
Is this the first time that we have such incident around that part of the country?
Well, border zones are always affected, the Gambia and outside the Gambia, even countries where they are believed to be tough, strict security. Borders are always, there's always a question of security when it comes to issues of border. In fact, because of the magnitude of burglaries, break-ins, and those forms of issues, those one part of the reasons why the Police High Command found it worthy on the 6th of December 2022 to deploy PIU officers at this border zone to ensure that they are able to sustain peace and stability. So you will understand that the entire interest for these people to be there is some reinforcement purposes, and also to ensure that they're able to maintain that needed peace for the community. So there's always an operational strategy, you know, of how many police officers should be around the QSL here, how many should be in Serakunda, how much should be in Fass Njagachoy. It is largely informed by the operational strategy. It is the operational strategy that also informs how much men we take to those border villages to ensure they reinforce other people that are already existing there.
So, okay, so now that this incident happened, what are you doing at the level of the police to intensify your efforts in making sure that incidents of such will not repeat itself again?
Well, from the time that I've joined the police, I've not seen any incident that becomes so much of a concern to the authority as this one. Evidently, when it happened, our man, one of our men... Is it
because your own person is now involved?
No. It is because residents of the Gambia are involved. Our mandate as a security force is to protect life and properties. That's clearly stipulated in our Police Act. So it's not about our men, it's also about the residents and the life and properties of people of the Gambia. In fact, when I say residents and Gambians, I am talking about a shop that belonging to a Mauritanian is affected. He is not a national of the Gambia, but he's a resident of the Gambia. And that's our mandate at the core of our functions. So we don't joke with that. You can see that IGP visited the guy who was shot in the arm yesterday at Edward Francis Small Teaching Hospital, where he's currently attending to treatment, responding to treatment. And the police command is very, very much serious about this entire unfortunate incident. And we have done so much since the incident happened, some of which are security issues. But I can tell you that a lot will change moving forward.
Okay.
Go on.
Was he the only police officer there at the time?
No, it is not. They have a routine. There are others who operate in the afternoon until at night. They relax, and others come during the night. So that's why I tell you there is an operational strategy on how this thing. He was not the only one there. In fact, the unfortunate incident happened so that He was even responding to the traffic, regulating the traffic and responding to a particular driver before these people come out, shot the gun in the air, and just attack them unannounced. That was how it happened. But I hear a lot of people say that he was not the only one on the way. That's false.
So how many armed robbers are we talking about here?
Now that's the question, because these people are unidentified. Of course, the report we gathered so far from eyewitnesses, especially the affected officers, will tell you that there are more than just one. It was not just one person's operation. So the assumption could be 5, 10, 15. We're not able to establish the actual number of them right now.
Well, I'm not a security expert, but I certainly know these kind of operations are not done by an individual.
Exactly.
But earlier on, you said, I mean, this officer was shot and then they went away with his rifle. How many rounds were in this rifle? Because it's a concern.
Yeah, as reported, we have 30 live rounds.
Wow, that's a lot.
30 live, I know. That goes to tell you how much serious we are when you come to the border security, because you can expect always the unexpected. And as an institution, especially the armed unit of the police, you know, they are made to appear to be readily available for any incident of this nature. But go to the best country with the top-notch security orientation, you understand that armed robbery still happens there. And whenever it happens, you know, no matter how much sensitive you are, you are mostly high likely to be defeated.
But what does this tell about our security in this country?
It begs the question that there is need for us to tighten our belt to ensure that we close the gap, the porousness of our borders, and also to ensure that we fight against these armed robberies and etc. But let's make it clear. And
of course, more investment in the security.
That's a good news whenever it is said.
I know you wouldn't like to talk about that, but
he will not talk about that, even though he knows that there is a need.
Even the IGP will agree with me.
No, but we don't have a problem saying everywhere. Myself, my boss, anywhere we go, we say it clearly that we are under-resourced. And if there is any suggestion, recommendation for resources to be pumped in, that's why I told him that's good news to hear. That's not a problem at all. It's not a problem to say anywhere. Of course, it's an apparent truth.
Okay. So what are you doing now moving forward? Are you thinking of working with other sister institutions, you know, at the security level to deploy some of them to these porous borders to ensure that there is tight security? Because if, you know, if there were a lot of security maybe from the army and other sister institutions, maybe, just maybe, it wouldn't have, you know, the incident would not have happened in the first place.
Let's have an agreement with Iran, Ukraine, and Russia. There are still going to be operations. There are still, you can never stop it completely. You can minimize and mitigate it. And when such things happen, we have commissions and committees that are set up to investigate and come up with recommendations. And probably one or two of them who might be part of that is listening to you and finding your opinion sound most likely with him. And there could be partnership, I don't know. But any recommendation that comes from that, plus the police high command that is very conscious of this incident right now, will not take it light. And obviously, we will do our best.
Okay, so I know before we move to something different, I know it's about the alleged shooting. Okay. Tell us the state of the police officer. How is he responding to treatment?
Well, unlike what was earlier rumored, that he has a minimum life expectancy and all of that, we found a different story altogether.
Okay.
The IGP and the command were there to show solidarity to the mother, who is indeed grief at this moment. And also with the guy. We are happy, kind of happy, at least contrary to what we had forced before they got to the hospital, that he is responding to the treatment positively. Okay. And we are hopeful that he will recover soon.
Okay. You said, I mean, after this attack on this particular officer, they also robbed a particular shop owned by a Mauritanian. How much did they win away with?
30,000 CFA.
Monetarily,
30,000 CFA, as it is reported.
Okay. I know we are running out of time, but I just want you to update us how far with regards to the operation and drivers, of course. How far?
You were there the first day.
Yes.
Right? And the legal year is delaying a lot of process, but as it is now, we have 9 already convicted, serving a jail term of 1 month for failing to display tariff. And I was here with the president the other day. We've made it abundantly clear. These regulations are made by the stakeholders of the transportation affairs in this country, including those that belong into the Drivers Association. They were there when the regulation was made. Some of the sound opinions, great opinion, come from the president regarding how the overcharging and other things. And it was there to really understand that when the fuel prices are increased, then the fare should also be increased. And that was done, so that there was a fair play. That I said it the other time here, that even if you are leaving from Brikama, going to Westfield, for the fact that you are alighting at Latrikunda does not mean that you will not pay the $28 or the $30 that you are supposed to pay. That is to favor the drivers, so they will not do this cut short that they have been doing. Unfortunately, some of the drivers use it as an opportunity to levy unacceptable charges on our women, on Gambian residents. And that's unfair. We found that unfair and unacceptable, and we have done an operation. Our security men were there in the street, in the vehicles, and they were overcharged. They were victim of overcharging. And that was how we were able to impound a lot of those vehicles.
So was that an undercover mission, or is it because of your own men, again, are the victims?
You see,
or was it an undercover operation that you conducted? Just to
be clear, I mean.
It is wanting to be clear, exactly. But it's another thing of my brother's interest in knowing whether we act because our men are affected. Was it an
undercover
to make it abundantly clear.
No,
I cannot. Our operations cannot involve civilians. When we are doing operation, except if it is necessary. But when we are doing our operation, we use our men. I am telling you.
No, but they can disguise as just civilians.
They don't dress in uniform. They dress. That's what I'm saying. That's why I call them intelligence. And the fact is, that when we are operating this particular operation, you know, we had a lot of people saying they were overcharged. But we don't want to depend on confirmed rumors, because it's dangerous. We want to depend on facts, and that's what attracted the operation. And the operation only informs us that, in fact, what you are saying is true, but the amount that you are even charged was less. We are charged higher than that. You know, so as a result, now you have a benchmark to make an informed decision. And as a law enforcement institution, we took the matter to court, and the court decided what to do with them.
It's still on. Is it still ongoing?
It's still ongoing. We are still impounding. We're not stopping. I know there is this attitude of saying it's a good operation, but it will end soon. This is not dying. This is living alive. And we are ensuring that we do the needful. Unfortunately, for now, the judiciary will not want me to use the unfortunately. For us, the delay is unfortunate. For them, they enjoy the legal year. Congratulations to them. But the legal year is what has stopped some operations. You would have heard some other news. Over 20 are already granted bail, 9 serving 1 month jail term.
Thank you.
And we are hoping for more progress.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Muhammed Darboe.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Deputy Public Relations Officer of the Gambia Police Force. Well, viewers, we will now take a short break. When we return, the program continues. Do stay tuned.
Save up to 50% energy with the new side-by-side Samsung refrigerator. Samsung air conditioners come with HD filter and antibacterial for your protection. Save time, energy, and effort by using our washing machines, loaded with innovative features that offer superior cleaning technology. Step into the future of television with our slick and slim Samsung Smart TV designs. Sizes range from 32 to 85 inches. Smart LED, Crystal UHD Ultra High Definition, and QLED Quantum Dark LED. Get new ways of interacting with your TV. Unparalleled vision, right from the comfort of your living room. Our products are backed with 1-year warranty. Visit us at Q South Building at Caraba Avenue or at Boothby Turtle. Contact us on 333-3217 or email us at info@quantumnet.gm.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV This Morning program, and of course I am Julden Jai, and it is sponsored by Opticalia from wherever you're watching us from. And we have in the studio with us is Saikou Drammeh, Standard Officer at the Gambia Standards Bureau. Good morning, Mr. Drammeh.
Good morning, Julia. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. I mean, your boss is supposed to be here. What happened?
Yeah, yes. He was supposed to be here with me until recently, that he was caught up with some other engagements.
Pressing engagements.
Exactly.
They always say that.
Other pressing national engagements.
And I just can't understand what those pressing issues are.
Well, anyway,
but, yeah,
but at least good that Saikou Drammeh is
here with
us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, Alu, take us through.
All right, thank you very much once again for joining us. I mean, like you have heard from my colleague, Julden Jai, I mean, the Standards Bureau, I mean, a government institution established by an act of parliament, exactly. I mean, to stabilize all products and services produced or consumed in the country. I mean, could you just take us through how do you do this to ensure these standards are realized or are respected?
Thank you very much for that question. With your permission, I would like to give you an overview of the Gambia Standard Bureau, exactly. What we do and what our mandate is.
Exactly.
So the Gambia Standard Bureau was established by an act of parliament in 2010 to standardize products, methods and services that are produced and consumed in the Gambia. So we have 3 main mandates. The first one is standardization, that is basically focused on the development and promotion of standards for all sectors. And we also do conformity assessment, that is through inspection, testing and certification of services and products that are produced and consumed in the country. And we also do metrology. We offer metrology services. That is basically calibration of our weighing devices to make sure that they conform to the international unit of standards. So that is basically our mandate, and that's what we do. As a
yes, Julie, you want to comment?
Okay.
You want to comment?
No, you can come.
All right. I mean, just last week, I mean, we saw in collaboration with the Gambia Inclusiveness and Resilient Agriculture Value Chain, that's Giraffe. I mean, you inaugurated what you call the Giraffe Quality Component for the Development of Standards for Maize and its value chain. Could you just explain to us what makes it so important?
Sometime last year, the Gambia Standards Bureau, in collaboration with the Giraffe Project, signed a memorandum of understanding to develop national standards for some agricultural products, which of course includes maize, poultry products, horticultural products as well. So part of the roadmap, we started with the development of standards for maize, which we've inaugurated last week, Friday. So part of our standard development procedure, we inaugurated a subcommittee that will be responsible for the development of these standards. So for now, we are starting with maize. We've identified 2 key important standards. The first one is specification for maize grains, and the second one is good post-harvest practices for maize, because you realize that post-harvest is really key in the production and productivity of our agricultural products. So this is why after identification of the specification, then we also decided to develop standard for good post-harvest practices that will help producers on how to handle their products to make sure that they're fit for human consumption.
Why maize? Why maize?
Yeah, as I said, it's not only maize that we're going to develop standards on, but for now, the main purpose of developing standard on maize is to address our nutritional need and also fight against food insecurity, because and as well as income generation for producers. You realize that majority of our farmers are into maize production, and it is the second most consumed agricultural products in the country after rice. So this is why the project deemed it necessary to support farmers, so that their production and productivity could be increased. So, and then that can only be realized through standardizing, the sector or the value chain. So this is why they've consulted, come into an agreement with the Gambia Standards Bureau to develop the standards that will address quality factors for maize.
I'm sure this is not the first time that you develop such standards. In the past, you've developed different standards. I mean, how far have you gone in terms of implementation of those standards? I mean, because it's a problem in this country. It's one thing to develop something which is a good idea, but implementation is a problem. Not only with the Standards Bureau, but this is a general problem in this country.
Yeah, in terms of implementation, we have our standard development procedure. Implementation is part of it. And first, we'll develop the standard. Then during the development, we have consultation with stakeholders. And to inform you, the Gambia Standard Bureau doesn't develop standards on its own. We gather stakeholders, for instance, from the sector that we are developing the standard on. Let's say the agricultural sector. Any agricultural standard that we're developing, we form what we call a technical committee on food. So this technical committee constitutes stakeholders from, the agricultural sector.
I remember covering one of the events that has to do with pant, and they gathered all these stakeholders in the pant.
Yeah. So after the development of the drafts, then we will have what we call the regional engagements to engage, regional stakeholders to also have their inputs in the standard. Then after that, when the standard is approved and gazetted as a national document, then we will do a massive sensitization to sensitize people, because it is equally important to sensitize people, so that people are aware of the standards. So that is one of our implementation strategies. And we also partner with relevant stakeholders like projects, to train them or train their beneficiaries on how to implement some of these standards. Sure.
So, Mr. Drammeh, of course, your institution is looking at standards and how best people conform with, these standards.
Exactly.
Which people specifically are you dealing with? Is it the providers, the customers, or the consumers? Which specific class of people are you really dealing with directly?
Well, standard doesn't have any specific class of people because it is meant for everybody.
No, I mean when it comes to conformity.
Conformity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the standard that is being developed. We have standards that are meant for producers, one that are meant for processors, etc. But then looking at the net benefit of standard, it is geared towards benefiting consumer, protecting the consumer in terms of providing the consumers with products that are of high quality that are fit for purpose.
So how often do you go out there to inspect some of these products, like Pura, for example, like FSQA is doing? They go out, inspect to see if there are expired food or foods that are not in conformity, with international standards. Do you do that, and how often?
Well, inspection, there are two types of inspection. Inspection done by regulators, and there is another inspection that is done by our conformity assessment body. So because the Gambia Standards Bureau is not a regulatory body, so we do not do such inspection. The type of inspection that we do is whenever we are to certify a particular product, we go to your place, inspect your product, do testing whenever necessary to make sure and to confirm that your products or your services that you're offering conform to the standards. So that is the type of inspection that we do.
And if it does not conform?
Then you don't get certified.
Okay.
Yeah.
And talking about the standards, I just want to know, what is the importance of conforming with these standards in relation to trade here? I'm talking about the issue of exporting.
Yeah, basically,
because when you travel outside, there are standards that you must meet before you are able to, export your products outside.
Exactly. So basically, one of the important of standard is to facilitate trade between countries, and also to minimize technical barriers to trade. So whenever a product conforms to the requirements of a particular standard, rest assured that you won't have any technical barriers to trade in terms of exporting your product to other countries. Because during our standard development, as I said, we consult our local stakeholders, but also we inform WTO, that is World Trade Organization. We send them a copy of our draft standard, then they will send it to member state countries to also add in their input. Because what WTO is advocating for is that countries should not develop standards on their own. Because, for instance, if Gambia develops our standard strictly based on our local conditions, without consulting other countries, if you want to export, then you will have technical barriers. So,
I mean, there has to be that uniformity as far as standards are at the international level.
Exactly. So this is why the first thing that we do is, as per our standard development procedure, that is being done by other standard development institutions, is that if you are developing a standard on a particular product, unless there is no other institution that develop that standard, but if there is an institution that develop that standard, then you will take their standard and use it as your working draft.
Okay.
Then you will make some changes to
that suits your own country.
Your local country. Yes. Yes.
So finally, I know time it's not on our side, but do you have cases whereas a particular provider came to you and then you assess and realize that they are not conforming and you refuse to give them license? Do you have instances like that? Not
refuse per se. Usually when a particular company wants to be certified, for instance, on let's say GHP or HACCP, then there is a procedure that needs to be followed. Yes. So when we do our inspections, maybe testing whenever necessary, and we realize that the producer doesn't conform to the requirements of the standards, we point out those non-conformance, and then they will work on them to make sure that they conform. Or wherever necessary, we do provide coaching to coach them, help them to make sure that they conform with the requirements of the standards.
Finally, I just want to know, with all these things that your office is doing, like you said, it was established as an act of parliament in 2010. What will you identify as the key challenges that are affecting your operation?
Yeah, the challenge that we've been encountering is the low adoption rate of standards, because standards are voluntary in nature. We don't force anyone to come and then implement this.
Isn't that a problem?
Well,
that you don't have the powers to enforce.
Yeah, because we have.
Because when you don't have that powers to enforce, I mean, like you say, it's voluntary, then that's a problem.
You know, in as much as we want businesses to conform with standard requirements, but we don't also want to, kick people out of business. Because if you want to enforce standards, meaning even if you do not meet one requirement of the standard, your operations or your products will be categorized as a non-conformance product.
Thank you so much, Saikou Drammeh, Standard Officer at the Gambia Standards Bureau. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Well, viewers, we will now take a short break. When we return, we will talk to Loster Banjul Afrisports Championship, and that is Saikou B. Jarju, President, and by Bittaye, Secretary General. We'll be right back.
By Komene Woni Network, Burado Holorede, ko Lady Gambia do, QCell continue a dangol on internet service Holorado, ko Lady Gambia do, e 4G plus internet speed on men innama, no yavi tenon kadi no Holora, watu kala dula, e QCell. Nabu QCell SIM card Johnny, Yahuka QCell customer care center ji ko Lady do. Fina fitoroda, odo 4G plus internet yawudo ko Lady Gambia do. Fiyeb gol hen ko labi. Ida wawi nodude QCell customer care 111. QCell sunyubas. Menen uditi lawongol si wobbe jokki.
QCell, GSM company minna yirwa tariata Gambia Bankoka. QCell la 4G plus network ya banko bela mura. Andung ala internet o tariata sidula saba katambi nyongola. Saung sahin, yesta 335 has kumande. Yadati kemuna fang 4G sobeol. QCell. Gambia la network lanna yaringo.
QMoney is back again with its easy-to-use, secure and convenient mobile app that allows you to carry out all your transactions. No matter where you are or what time it is, you can always access your funds. With the new QMoney app, you can cash in and out, buy credit, buy QPower, shop, make payments, and so much more. You can also send QMoney, pay bills, receive international remittances, and transfer cash to others. Just download the app from your Play Store or App Store and get started. For more information, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Sinu Calpe. We innovate, others follow.
Save up to 50% energy with the new Saikou.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is QTV This Morning program. We are coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. And of course, now we will be talking to officials from Loster Banjul Afrisports Championship, which is to be staged in the Gambia very soon. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
So talk to us about the championship, which is supposed to start from the 6th to the 12th of March 2023. Tell us the importance of this.
Good morning, viewers. We are here to discuss about the state of preparedness for the upcoming Banjul sports. That is the Loster organized by the Nisa, that is the National Interdepartment Sports Association, in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the National Sports Council. This event is very important. Important in the sense that it is going to gather over 20 African countries to converge in Banjul to do mainly workers' sports. But there are other events that are associated with the program, that is to have a continental congress. That is the first activity. Then that goes on with the sports, and the sports goes with 6 disciplines. You have football 6A side, you have football 11A side, we have volleyball, handball, we have petanque, which is a game that is new, is going to be introduced in the Gambia for the first time, and also we have work for health, which is one of the very, very important events, whereby even senior workers should be able to participate. The event is important to the Gambia. In view of our nature, Gambia is conceived and considered as the smiling coast of Africa. And bringing in African countries, one of the benefits is to encourage regional integration through sports. Number 2 would be to look at the health aspect of it, because the more we do sports, most of us are working tirelessly, but we do not involve in sports to ensure that our healthy nature is kept. But if you have an institution that encourages sports, the health bill of your institution can go significantly down, because you will not spend more on health issues. It will also boost our tourism, because tourism in the Gambia is one of the mainstay of our economy. And we have 20 African countries coming. It will encourage the spending on our hotels. These are middle-class workers. They will come to the country and then they will spend, the transport system will also benefit. The people selling peanuts and other things, oranges and other, will benefit to this thing. So the benefits are trickle-down effect to the economy. We also look at it from a socio-economic point of view, whereby, the country will gain in terms of the contribution. Our seaports, our airports will be, flooded with people coming in and out. And also, it is going to be looked at from a sports diplomacy, because we do not have much time to integrate or to join African countries together. So this event is so significant to the Gambia. And it's also beyond Nisa. It is now a national event.
National event.
Yes.
Mr. Jarju, coming to you, is this the first time Gambia is hosting such an event? If so, where do you plan to host this? Because we know that the Independence Stadium is on renovation.
Yeah, precisely. Thank you so much. This is the first of its kind, having hosted such a continental championship. Gambia is a member of Loster. Loster is the continental body. whose head office is in Cameroon. Then eventually the right to host first in the first place was given to Gambia in 2021 in a congress held in Dakar. And then obviously since that time we're looking into the modalities and how to have it prepared and organized in the Gambia. Of course, yes, Independence Stadium is in renovation. We're trying to consult other grounds to make sure that the event is successfully hosted by the Gambia. Now we're talking about football, 11 aside. Yes, we will be using grounds like those in KMC and then in BCC. We will be able to use about 4 grounds which were already marked for that purpose. And then the 6 aside is just this mini stadium. We have them around. We've done inspection because a team of experts were led by the president of LOSTA, Dr. Malike, who arrived in the Gambia sometime in December and was received by the minister and even the president of the Republic, with his Secretary General Sisal from Algeria, to look into the logistical aspect and then whether Gambia can be able to host it accordingly. And when they left satisfied. So I believe that the challenges are enormous, but we'll be able to have grounds to our standard, because every country you host it to your standard. It's not like all standards are met. They don't have a simple unified standard, but based on the locality, and then yes, so they feel that the Gambia can do it. And we are working very hard on that.
I just want to come in here. You said, I mean, this event is beyond just Nisa. Someone who is watching here in Nisa for the first time. That was true. For some of us, we know what Nisa is all about.
Yeah, of course. Nisa is the National Interdepartmental Sports Association. It's the 20th year for its. This would be its 20th year in existence, and then it is involved in worker sports, be it private, public. Name it, parastatal, you're a part of it. So long as you are a worker, you are a member of Nisa. And then for you to formally take part in its activity, you have to register. Of course, we concentrate more in football, but Nisa is all about all kinds of sports as far as workers do it. So that's why when Loster comes in, they're giving us what we call Afrisport. You have Afri Games and Afrisport. Afrisport, you choose the number of discipline you think you can host. Afri Games, it goes beyond that one. All kind of games are hosted. So Congo will be hosting the Afri Games in 2024, yes, end of 2024, whilst Gambia is hosting Afrisport. Afrisport is limited to the 6 disciplines already we identify. It could be 2, it could be 3, and so forth. So every country has its standard of meeting the disciplines. So Nisa is the worker sports. Everybody, be it in the service or government or anywhere, you're a member of Nisa, and then you should see this as your project.
By, I mean, you said, I mean, you're expecting about 20 countries. I mean, can you just tell us what are some of these countries?
Sorry?
Some of the countries, so as I can help in that one. It's
not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah, okay, let me put it this way. Just this morning we got the list of Rwanda sending us the list of 70 people. They're supposed to go. They were going for 5 companies to arrive.
70?
70 personnel that are representing 3 clubs. That is the Rwanda Revenue Authority.
That's what I'm saying, 70 from just Rwanda.
Rwanda.
One country.
Yeah. Then how much are we expecting then?
That's why they said it's a huge...
Yeah, it will depend also equally. It will depend. Some of the, when we say 20 countries, of course, the 20 countries, some of them would be coming for the Congress. Others would be coming for the sports, including the Congress, because for now, for the Congress, we know that 50 participant delegates will be coming across Africa. That one is established. But for the sporting side, today would be our deadline for the last given deadline for the countries to show the number of teams that will be coming. So until, as we stand now, I won't be able to tell you this, but like neighboring Senegal already sent me a list of about 4 companies, 5 companies already coming, and then we expecting close to 75 teams of petang. Petang is a team of 3. You have a team of 2, but you have a team of 3. The one that we're going to host in the Gambia is going to be a team of 3. So meaning that if you happen to have 75 teams, it's 75 times 3. Sometimes some of them come with their coaches or not, but it depends.
Okay.
So that's what we're expecting. It's going to be a huge crowd of its standard, and I believe that Gambia would be a good host to show Africa what it stands.
Like you said, I mean, this is not the first time that Nisa has been participating in some of these events. I remember 2015 we were in there, right?
Yes.
With you. I mean, I just want to know, why do you think the Gambia was chosen for the first day?
Well, okay, let me come there before. You see, the right to host, obviously, is through a bidding.
Okay.
And Gambia was bidding this right with Rwanda and Congo, this wave 3. But, you know, sometimes, you know, sport politics and so forth, you have to engage your government to step in, and also you have to meet certain requirements. Okay, you know, of course, for the for worker sport in Luster, there is no qualification to say you must be qualified to meet this standard. All that you need to qualify yourself with, you have to be an institution or a company or that fulfill you to be. Just like what we do in May Day Sports. May Day Sport, anybody can come and do your bits and so forth. But the whole thing is about networking, knowing each other and the like. So when we bid against Rwanda and Congo, with the use of the Anglophone and some of the Francophone, Senegal was very instrumental in making sure Gambia host this thing. So they also were able to walk through, and then thank God with the government of the Gambia through the Ministry of Youth and Sports, were able to intervene very smartly and then endorse, because you must get the blessing of your government formally, officially, before you even got to win this thing. So we got that.
Okay. Mr. Bittaye, finally, we don't have time. I think we have few seconds to go. At what stage is the preparation for this?
The preparation is at a very high stage, advanced stage. We have local organizing committees, and we also have subcommittees that are working tirelessly. We have some committees like the marketing committee, the secretariat, the technical committee, and also the competition committees. So all these committees are composed and become the local organizing committee, which we have chosen people with different skills, with different knowledge and ideas of what they are doing. So at the moment we're doing the marketing, going to institutions to, you know, canvass for their support and their participation. And as we speak now, we have many companies that have expressed their interest. Even companies like institutions like the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they have expressed their desire to come. You have the Gambia Ports Authority that are also willing to come, Maritime, you know, National Roads Authority, and many institutions. The private sector is also coming up. So our preparation is almost done, and we're trying to finalize, and we're having a meeting for the National Organizing Committee later this week by Friday, so that we can assess, you know, the overall preparation. But the preparation is in a very high gear at the moment.
How many people are we expecting, or companies, to participate in the Gambia?
In the Gambia, you know, we have this last-minute syndrome in Gambia.
Okay, all right.
So, but we're expecting a lot. And even today, we're going to go around and then ensure that we at least have a minimum of 20.
Civil aviation. I remember our trip to Ndar.
They
represented the country.
Yeah, they might be coming.
Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. That was Saikou Jarju, President of Nisa, and of course, Bittaye, Secretary General. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for coming along.
Thank you so much.
Viewers, we will now go straight to the click segment, and of course with Chachel Balde.
place. Gambia's a solution. If you wanna have good holidays, Gambia's a solution. Contact in the short world. African blood is hot. If you wanna know the real story of Africa, Africa is the root. Africa is the root. They got a new generation, promising future generation. Gambia Banjul, contact in the Gambia. Gambia la Faria. Gambia's a solution. If you wanna have good holidays, Gambia's a solution. Contact in the short world. African blood is hot. If you wanna know the real story of Africa, Africa is the root. Africa is the root. They got a new generation, promising future generation. Gambia Banjul, contact in the Gambia. Gambia la Faria, Nala Santoko. Sunta Dada Yarala. The kid the short world. African blood is hot. If you wanna know the real story of Africa, Africa is the root. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. Africa is the root. They got a new generation, promising future generation. Gambia Banjul, contact in the Gambia. Gambia la Faria, Nala Santoko. Sunta Dada Yarala.
All work, no play makes Jack a dull boy, and we don't want to be dull, do we?
Not really. And then
We are going straight to the click segment with Churchill Balde. Hello.
Hey, my sister. What
How
up?
are you?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
Fine.
And my colleague here, Aliu Sisi.
Well,
It's nice sharing. It's nice sharing. It's nice sharing this platform with you people.
Yeah, definitely. It's a pleasure.
Nice.
It's a pleasure.
So on today's segment, I have an artist all the way from Guinea-Bissau, and he goes by the name Americo Gomes. He is a very familiar face when it comes to entertainment in this country, and this is his second time coming here. Hello, boss.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine.
So I'll allow you to talk to your fans here and in Guinea-Bissau before we start the interview.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, introduce yourself and then.
Yeah, my name is Americo Gomes. I'm from Guinea-Bissau, born in Guinea-Bissau and grew in Portugal. Since 13 years, my father took me to Portugal.
Okay.
And but all this time, I live 34 years in Portugal.
Wow.
But like I never been in Portugal because I speak and I follow, I respect my real tribe, Manjaco. I speak Manjaco. Even my daughter born in Portugal too speak Manjaco.
Nice. That's amazing. You know, people like you, when you reach to a certain status, you know, some people tend to change, but you are maintaining your origin. That's something nice.
Yes, because the first thing is to know where you from.
Yeah.
And where you go.
Okay.
Me, I'm African 100%.
True.
And day by day, I never think I live in this country. I just go to find something to bring home. And I'm African.
Nice, nice. So we'll hold it there. We're not alone here. We're joined by Francis, who is a promoter that brought you here. So we'll allow him to introduce himself and then we kick on with an interview. Hello, Francis.
Yeah, thank you, Churchill. Francis Mendy. Most people know me with West Coast Radio. Today I'm with Americo Gomes here, not on my own accord, but with Kanderka Bok Association in the Gambia. It's a Manjago association which is coming to support the less privileged, especially the widows. We know in our country we have so many things concerning marriage, and the widows are in trouble, the orphans are in trouble, and we cannot do anything. And you know in Manjago, by our virtue, we are not people who are proud. We live low and we don't beg. And that is why we decided to talk to our brother to come to us, join us, and raise funds to support these people, these less privileged people who are orphans and widows in our country.
Okay, nice. So how did you bring him over? Like, who made the connection? How did it start?
Okay, Americo Gomes came here some time ago in the Gambia, but contacted by one guy in Spain through Chabu Empire to the Gambia. But this time, we decided not to make a third-party contract. We went straight to him to talk to him and make sure he come as an ambassador, not not on contract, but this time to come and support his own, because he's proud to be Gambian. He's proud to be also part of the Banjako people and the culture.
And he sang a song saying Gambia is the solution.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate more on that?
Yeah, Gambia is the solution. Is because 2021, I was in Gambia, and I traveled many places in the world. I was in USA, Brazil, Angola, Senegal, Bissau, Cape Verde. But what I feel inside me here is different for all these places I go, because you cannot say you are good because you get money. That don't make sense. You can tell me you are good because of your feeling. You do good things. Because I walk in the street.
And it's from your heart.
I walk in the street. When I talk with you, I feel relaxed. That I feel you good.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you always find a smile.
Yeah, you cannot. That's why even in the airport, I say Gambia is the best country in West Africa.
And people
wow. So like, you are there. Because they take best country is like to get people sleep in the street in USA, get people shot in a child in the school, and I prefer where I can relax. Good.
And that's what
I don't need building, I don't need nothing. No.
Gambia is very hospitality. I won't say we are number one, but we are up there when it comes to hospitality.
Yeah, but you remember in my last concert, I say in the stage, Gambia gonna win this Africa Cup of Nations. And you see, when
we got
was
quarterfinals. So I'm sure your fans out there wants to know you more. To get to see your music. So let's take a short music break.
Okay.
Take a look at your music, and then we'll be right back with the interview.
Thank you.
Stay tuned.
It's J Life. If you find a better place, Gambia has the solution. We get a sun, we get a beach. We get safari. If you're not living paradise, welcome to Gambia. Tell you Gambia nice. Gambia nice. Oh, Gambia fine. When the city was in Numbani, Kalempo Sakuri was in two. I'm Lempo Sakuri by two. Yolim Burning Kitty. Oh, Jenny Gambia Lilo, Gambia Lilo. For them new begala, Okay.
Gambia Nice from Americo Gomes. What inspired that song?
This song is when I come 2021. Jacques tell me he want to make one featuring with me.
Okay.
And I was in their studio. They make a beat. I listen a bit. I say, okay, I write this song. I write it all.
Yeah.
Okay, I say this song must be like this. Gambia nice because Gambia, the tourists, many tourists come to Gambia.
True.
And they come find good things. Let's talk about this kind of thing.
Yeah.
We make it in English in Manjako. Yeah, and Jacques make some part like hip hop.
Okay.
It's great. It's great. Jacques is a good singer.
You know, you're about to stage a show here, so we want you to do an a cappella. But before we do the a cappella, we will allow him to tell us a little bit about the show, what people should expect.
It's okay.
Francis, come on.
Yeah, thank you very much. The show is going to be on the 17th at Manjai Park, and on the 18th February, which is Independence Day, starting 12 noon up to late morning, is going to be in Brikama Joko. Tickets in Manjai Park are 400 advance and 500 at the gate. VIP is $1,000. Nice. So at Brikama is only 200 flat, and we're inviting everybody.
Nice, nice. So we want him to give us an a cappella of what we're about to expect. Is he ready for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Give us a bit. Let him do a little bit, a little something for us.
Okay. I bring a lot of songs to play because we don't gonna play back.
Yeah.
We play with the band.
Nice. So they will play a bit for you, and then you give us an a cappella.
Okay. Can make beat.
Let's go.
Jolba kachira na chana inka kuichi kuji kameko sikalo ipo chika checha ukachechiri kamechela unika fai abakabanyane. Abakabanyane, bakabanyane, bakabanyane, abajugunchame, abakabanyane, abakabanyane, abakajaro, abakajaro, abakabanyane.
I don't know what that is, but I love it.
But it's nice. So that's Manjako.